computer. Good afternoon, good morning across the world. This is Dean Chitrin with Low 70s Golf. And I want to come on here and bring on one of our students, Javi Guzman from Colorado. And Javi came to us in June of 2021, so almost 18 months ago. And then I believe he'll tell a little bit about his story. So why don't we just start there? Javi, why don't you tell a little bit about where your scores were, what you do, and a little bit about yourself?
Of course. Well, I started playing golf in Ecuador, where I'm from, and then I moved to Colorado. My scores were between, I would say 78 to up to 85, 86, depending on the day, depending on the conditions. And I thought that was a lot involved, a lot of factors that can impact my rounds. So that's how I got into your program after a little research and some advertising. So I decided to give it a try. And yes, I was hesitant at the very beginning about the methodology, but everything was, first of all, eye-opening. And second of all, I realized how far away or how far away I was to get the results without the tools that you provided in your course.
Okay, so let's talk about like some of the obstacles you had in your golf game, you know, when you go out and shoot an 81 or an 84 or something like that, or what would be like your highest score in 2021 before you joined us?
I would say 89,
Okay.
88, and then you know, if the conditions, like it would be rain or something, it could go up to 90 or something like that. So it was all over the place. There was no consistency. There was no stability in my swing. So there was a lot to work with.
Okay, and then what made you decide to book a call with us?
After watching your videos, your advertising, but what really pushed me to give you the call was mostly the feedback or the testimonials from not just one, not just 20, but over 40 people talking really good stuff about your program. That's when it got a little bit more confidence and booked the call. And then when I got the details with you, it was a little easier to just keep going with it.
Okay. And if we look at putting, finesse wedge, bunker, distance wedge, full swing, core strategy, fitness, mindset, what challenges or what was not working in your game before you joined the Navy SEALs of Golf training program?
Honestly, the first two, which is putting and finesse wedge, and that is a clear indicator that the score is right in there. So when I started the first two models, that was it, putting and finesse wedges, and it made a huge difference from the very beginning. From the very first 3 weeks, I already was, you know, getting that ball closer to the flag, to the hole, and actually saving some shots. So it was a really good strategy to start in that side.
Okay. And so after the first 3 weeks, then so we're talking about June, July. When did you start noticing confidence and certainty that you could actually shoot par or better?
By August, I was already, you know, shooting again 77, 76, and then one round of 73. It was the eye-opening, you know, or the aha moment where I realized this is working. This is giving me the confidence. This is putting my mindset into another level. So that was a very, very big aha moment by August, I would say.
Okay, so you started at the end of June, so all of July, and then first, second week in August, 6 weeks in, you were able to shoot a 73?
Yeah.
No way.
Yeah. Yeah.
How was that possible?
A lot of practice, to be honest, and then but realizing that you're doing it correctly. One of the points was doing subconsciously and just practicing without a ball. That gives you the confidence to get into the right path of the swing plane, or And all the theory of gives you the whys behind it, why the ball will spin a little bit more and all that stuff. So when you test it in the range or in the chipping and putting green, everything starts to make sense. Everything gives you a little bit more confidence, which I think it was something missing in my game, especially when putting. And it really made a huge difference on results for sure.
Okay, so when you say practice, are you talking about like doing training without a golf ball?
Train without a golf ball,
So learning the specific movements of what your hands are doing and all that stuff.
correct. And yes, obviously getting you confident with the putter when you hit the line by using the yardstick and all the stuff, everything makes you more confident to see where the ball you want it to go. So that's those tricks, or not tricks, sorry, those exercises make you a little bit more tougher and comfortable and confident for sure.
Okay, so let's break this down. So you decide to join our program, you get on my calendar, we do the welcome call, and we focus on the fitness component of stability, mobility, and flexibility. That's one component. But the first foundation is we focus on putting for a couple weeks, right?
Correct.
And so you learn how to read a green, you learn how to hit your line, you learn how to control your speed. How kind of tell the audience, how that worked for you and how much time and effort you had to do to, wow, this is me getting really good at putting.
So yeah, like you said, the process, especially on reading the green, uh it was it was really good. I think that was, I mean, how to do it correctly gives you the confidence to not be intimidated by that line or that pod. I thought that I was a good, green reader, but I was completely wrong until I did it correctly. So that might be why the confidence gets into you. Well, you know where you're going. You're hitting that line, and obviously you see results from like, sorry to say, like from God damn it, it's like, oh, I almost made it, right? So it's like even if you miss, it's closer. So you're getting confident you're doing it correctly now. So it's a huge difference when you have those tools in your bag, or tools mentally too. So I'm enjoying the game now, like never before, to be honest.
Awesome. And so we went from kind of doing a tri-level training where we focus on the fitness component where you're going to do over the next 12 weeks, but we dove into putting, and then we started after we got some mastery on that, or some basic fundamentals. Then we went into finesse wedges, and we learned how to educate your hands, how to chip it low, and then how to hit it high. What was your take on that type of training, and how did it help?
I was okay with the chipping before, but some of the positions of your body I needed to change, and then it got closer and closer. My chips were inches away from getting inside nowadays, so that was really good. But a regular golfer gets a little bit under pressure when it's around the green and tries to get it a little bit closer, but the mechanics behind it when I learned it with your program gave me a little bit more of aggressiveness around the green in order to get it closer too. So that was a really good component when I was starting to relearn that and relearn it correctly. And the physical component or the fitness component that you are talking about help on your swing to get a little bit longer shots and get more flexible. And honestly, not just on the golf side, but the flexibility that you get in here, it makes you feel so much better during the throughout your day, or so I believe I have a new back now. Like when I stretch and flex the lower back or the higher part of my body, it's completely different. I mean, it feels so much. I used to go to the chiropractor like twice a month. I haven't been in the chiropractor for maybe 7 months, and maybe yes, when I really slept bad, that's where I go to a chiropractor nowadays. So it's a huge difference. It's a integral program that you have here, not just on the physical or the golf game, but your mindset, your feelings are involved in here too, and how you can control your feelings on the course as well. So it's eye opening, by the way.
That's fantastic. So let's just break it down. So in the first 30 days, not only you get better physically, you get better mentally, where we set the winners champions mindset, change some of the way you believe, claim some identities of who you are, and you and I on that very first call stack an identity of what you want to do. That's probably how you're able to shoot that 66, which we'll get to soon. But in the first 30 days, putting, finesse wedge, and bunker and fitness, you dropped probably about 6 strokes just in the first month. And then we started working on month 2 and 3 on ball striking, distance wedge, full swing. Tell me a little bit
Yes.
about how you're able to take that training in my coaching and take it to the next level.
So the training was one of the challenges that I thought it was gonna be was the methodology in terms of like, can I learn this like via Zoom, via on a online course? And honestly, I devour all the information in that in those first 2 weeks, to the point that I was in the garage and learning those courses online, and then practicing in the garage exactly with a mirror and make sure that I'm doing it correctly. So yes, I started with the pod obviously, and then finesse wedges and how to swing the club correctly and the ball striking after. I don't remember your question. Can you repeat it just in case?
Yeah. So so the first 30 days is a short game primarily, but then 2 and 3, we really focus on how to build a swing that fits your body and your current
Correct.
physical conditions, where we teach you how to educate your hands. Remember, the hands can move in 3 stations. They can bend and they can arch, they can cock and uncock, and turn and roll. And so we spend so much time, effort, energy training that new motor pattern in the brain in front of a mirror or camera without air hitting a golf ball over and over and over, 3 to 5 minutes a day for 3 weeks, and then having this one-on-one coaching to make sure you're doing it right. I can watch you do it. I can demonstrate so you can see how to do it properly. And then the more times you do it, you take it the course, and that's how you're able to shoot in the low 70s, correct?
That is totally correct. Yeah.
Okay.
It's all we are creatures of habit. And I believe that's why by practicing in the mirror, practicing in the garage, without a ball, that's how you get confident with that swing. So yeah, that's how it worked in my case. And yeah, it's a stronger, stable swing nowadays. Although I still have to go work on my legs for more power.
So within the first 2 months of joining, you went from averaging 85 to shooting to 73.
Yeah.
And so that's 2021. So now let's fast forward to last year, 2022. Some things happened in your life, and you're going traveling, and you decide to play a golf course. Tell me about that story, because it's phenomenal.
So for the people that doesn't know me, I am from Ecuador, and suddenly I got a little scholarship in a small college in the middle of nowhere, Iowa. I honestly just broke 80 maybe 3 times into tournaments, but I made a great group of friends in this team. So one of these guys lives in Missouri, 9 hours away from me, and they had a really good Calcutta tournament, which is their 3-man. It's 2 days of play. The first one is best ball, so you play your own, but score the best ball between the 3, and the next day is a scramble. So on that first day, I was with my buddies, which I was never able to, beat them in a tournament, or maybe I beat him in a practice round from time to time, but never on a tournament, and they were by far a better golfer than me. When I got there, the day before we were in the pool, they were having drinks. I'm cutting on my share of alcohol now, but I decided, you know what, I need a challenge here. And this is good timing. And I think this is a really good challenge because these are really good golfers that can play like really low 70s or even under par from time to time. And the next day, they pair me with friends of my friend, but they were like 20 handicappers, really cool people, by the way. But all the shots that were put in that scorecards came from me because I end up with 5 birdies, uh, 1 eagle, and 2 bogeys, and the rest obviously pars. The face of amazement of my friends were like, they were shocked, impacted, and they asked me, "What are you doing?" And I'm like, "Well, I think I figured it out." Like, but it involves a lot of fitness, a lot of mirror and practice without a ball, and this is what I did and stuff like that. So this is you're doing it really well. So it was a really fulfillment. I felt very fulfilled, and we did some reunion trips back in the day, and we were planning to do our fourth one. So they're excited to see what I can bring to this golf trip now. So this is a really good change that they've seen in me. So this is really positive experience so far.
Right. Thank you so much. And then last year you said was the first time in your life that every time you played golf, all the scores were in the 70s, and
Correct.
you even fired a 66 at one point.
Correct. I just checked my gain handicap, and 2022 was a year free of 80s. So it's the program that actually is effective, puts you in the right mindset, and help you out achieve big things. So I totally recommend this for anyone.
Awesome. Thank you. And what was your biggest fear before enrolling and starting with me?
Like I said before, like the capability of like learning without having a coach in present. Um, and obviously, it's just the it's just a fear if it is going to work or not. But obviously everything starts with you, and everything starts with a decision. I believe I made the right decision.
Thank you. And so what's in your future for golf? Competition, teaching your son?
Well, where I'm, like I said before, I'm from Ecuador, and I competed back in the day with some, junior championships and stuff like that. So the country club where I used to play, they moved locations, and now they have a new course. I really wanna go and compete on the open national championship, and compete with the best. So now I think I'm getting into that level, but there's still a lot more. These new kids now with technology um, now are playing under par consistently. These national championships are finally are being winning by under par scores, so it's gonna be a huge challenge. I'm gonna have to start preparing myself for that mentally, physically, for that kind of challenge, and hopefully I can get that crown at some point in the next 5 years.
So mentally and physically. So then what would be the most transformational thing about the low 70s golf Navy SEALs training program and working with me and just the environment? What has impacted you the most, not just in golf, but anything?
Impacted like realizing what are you able to achieve, and like why your mind thinks that you're just in here when in reality you can go beyond that. That was a huge eye-opening moment. And little by little, you realize that you are getting more concentrated and more focusing on what you need, not thinking, staying in the present for sure. That was a big deal for me since, like, for example, if I'm like even par on number 7, I'm like, I really want to finish this front 9, so I don't want to screw it up. Instead, it's like, no, let's go for the other birdie, or let's go for another um green, or stay in focus on, like, just focus on fairways and greens, or try to put it on green on 2. So that changed completely with this program. And limits
So,
are, yeah.
so prior to joining, you were shooting 78, 79s, 85s, 88s, 89s. And on our call, you know, because if I have someone that's listening to this and they're shooting 95 and they're like, well, there's no way I can shoot a 75.
Yes, you can.
Because we had this conversation, what would you say to them knowing that you were shooting 85s and 88s and we talked about shooting 65s and 70s? You know, did that scare you? And it's likely to scare them to even believe that's possible. What do you say to them?
It's completely possible if you put the time, if you follow the directions that Dean puts you in. The great system that the Dean is putting in is like he's starting from the ground up, meaning that he's starting with potting and making sure that those scores are going to get sliced or caught. But yeah, it's completely possible. You just need to train mind, body, and soul. And I believe that Dean have all the components for that. The I think in other interviews that you have posted, there's people that tell you that Dean it could be also a life coach, and it's completely true because he's going to put you into a mindset where you can be confident and a mindset that is going to build that confidence into you. So for that reason, I said it's completely possible. It just depends on you. It just depends on like how much work you put into it.
Let's talk
And
about
like
that.
I said,
Let's talk
yeah,
about that
and
time, right? Because most people
yeah,
think, well, I work 40, 80 hours a week. I got wife, kids, this and that. But realistically, if we look at what our students do, they may spend anywhere between 4 to 8 hours a week training, not driving to a golf course or driving to a driving range, banging balls, just training a few minutes here, a few minutes here. Is that how you're able to accomplish it as well?
oh yes. In my case, I was basically on working for a call center, and when I was listening to calls, I would put this on and start on the mirror, or start stretching, or start potting. You know, stuff that is in your power inside your household in order to keep practicing and keep getting confident that way.
Awesome. So, any final thoughts before we wrap up? What would you say? Anything you care to share?
Yes, well, I've been saying this throughout the interview, but I completely recommend Dean and the low 70 golf program in order to improve your game. It's an eye-opening experience. It's something that is not just going to be good for golf, but for your daily life. And I totally support what he does at this point.
Thank you. And so it's talking about, investing in your goals and your dreams. Would you say, like I always say, that you bought yourself a game by investing in me in low 70s golf?
No, I invested in the best program out there. That's what
Okay.
I did.
But in essence, you bought yourself a 66 and a 70, right?
I did, yeah.
Yeah. So for anybody else listening out there, we have a 12-week Navy SEALs golf training program with 6 months of coaching with me. It's all laid out step by step. We're going to focus on your body, your fitness, meaning stability, mobility, flexibility, regardless of the age. And then we're immediately going to dive into a skill set training. We're going to start from the foundation first. We're going to go into putting. You're going to learn how to read a green, learn how to hit your line, learn how to control your speed along that line. And then we'll stack on a next biggest stroke, which is finesse wedges, pitching and chipping. And you'll train and drill and you'll get coaching feedback just like Javi and I did. And then we'll go into bunkers and do the same thing. And so within the first 30 days, it's likely you can drop anywhere between 4 to 10 strokes, depending on what your handicap is. And then we're really going to spend a lot of time building a full swing, muscle and joint by muscle and joint, one piece at a time. And then we're going to stack onto that distance wedges, and then we'll get into ball striking. But even in the first month, we're going to claim some new identities and learn how to control your mindset, your emotions, and your belief system, and set an identity to being the best putter in your county, being a +1 handicap, and training the skill set to match that identity. That way, in 12 weeks, you'll be able to hit the fairway, hit more greens. And if you do miss a green, you'll be able to get up and down to say par, get out of the bunker close and say par versus bogey. And then after 12 weeks, we'll do an after action report, just like Javi and I did. And he rated himself on putting, finesse, wedge, and bunker, and all the other skills. And we put together a plan for the next 3 months to attack those weaknesses and sharpen the blade. That's why he was able to go from not only 85 to 73 in the first 8 weeks, but for the full 6 months, he was able to sharpen the blade. And in 2022, never shot around above 80s, all in the 70s, and fired a 66 on a away course that he's never saw before. So Javi, congratulations. I appreciate you showing up the way you do. You're a great human being, and it was a pleasure working with you. And if there's anybody else that wants to shoot in the low 60s, low 70s, break par, break 80 for the first time, just reach out to us at low70golf.com and we'll speak to you soon. Javi, thank you so much for being a good friend and a good student.
Same. Thank you so much, Dean, and take it easy. Also, you forgot to mention that the community that you have in your Facebook group, it's amazing. I end up becoming friends with Andres, that we met together, even though we live in different states, but it's a really good community that pushes you to become something better, for sure. So
thank you for bringing it up, because I want to touch base on that. So we have a private group on Facebook, Navy SEALs Low 70 Golf, and all the members come in there, and Javi and Andres, who live in 2 different states, became friends, and they played golf together, and now they're both in the low 70s. And we have a community of about 200 people around the country that if I want to come play out in Colorado, and for example, one of my students lives in Tucson, and I drove to California, and I was able to play with one of our students at his course and have a blast. And so this is just a fun community to up-level our skill set, where you're going to invest in coaching, training, mentorship, so that you can actually shoot par or better. Thanks, Javi.
you're very welcome, and hello to everyone out there.